Everybody agrees that JD Vance had a terrible moment in last night's debate when he refused to say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. But Mika from MSNBC's Morning Joe was actually shocked at the moment because she felt that there was something missing. And what she's saying has got a lot of people talking. Plenty of people are saying that JD Vance had a decent debate last night. But that's because the bar is so low due to his running mate, Donald Trump, that all JD Vance had to do was show up and be coherent and not be a complete prick to his debate opponent, and he was going to do okay. And that's exactly what happened with JD Vance last night. But MSNBC contributor Donnie Deutsch doesn't think that Vance's decent performance is going to go over well with Donald Trump.
Final thought, going back to what Joe said this morning at Mar-a-Lago, what's going on is that people are going up as they're getting their Danish and their bun cake at Mar-a-Lago. They're going up to Donald and saying, boy, Vance was great last night, wasn't he? Wasn't Vance great? And that's going to bother him. Oh, yeah. That's going to really bother him, that he was better than Donald Trump, that he could litigate the case better than Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, you're going to see, he's going to be very dismissive of JD Vance in the coming weeks. But Donald Trump is not happy this morning because JD Vance showed himself to be a superior candidate.
That's just an objective truth. Put the two side to side. Vance is much, much better at this. And Trump did praise him on social media last night.
I hope that's what went down at Mar-a-Lago this morning. A bunch of people coming up to Trump saying Vance was amazing last night. I'm sure they kissed his butt by saying, you picked the great guy. Good job, Donald. But it still gets under Donald Trump's skin that somebody else is being praised and being celebrated, and it's not him. He can't stand being out of the spotlight. But the panel brought up a great point that even though Donald Trump posted some praise of JD Vance last night, it doesn't seem like the debate was holding his attention.
To Donnie's point about maybe Trump's mixed feelings about the debate, though he praised Vance's appearance, he also at one point mid-debate started tweeting about Pete Rose deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. So perhaps his own attention was sort of lost.
I noticed this as well, and I thought it was hilarious. In the middle of the debate, Donald Trump was posting about Pete Rose. So was Donald really paying attention to the debate? Or was he, like probably many people on the right, bored to tears because of JD Vance's performance and not really paying attention? But it was that big moment towards the end of the debate where JD Vance could not admit that Donald Trump had lost the 2020 election. That's when Mika from Morning Joe decided to weigh in, and she appeared shocked at what was missing from the debate. She responded to another panelist expressing disappointment that Tim Walz didn't push back harder during some points of the debate, and that this big January 6, 2020 moment happened at the end of the debate, and so many people probably didn't see it. Watch this.
It was disappointing, too, that Governor Walz just didn't have a better answer for why he had said previously that he was in Tiananmen Square when he wasn't, and it's something he could have easily said, I misspoke, I'm sorry, but instead he, almost made it worse.
I agree with you, Elise. I was surprised by that moment. I was surprised by a number of moments like that, but we'll take that one as the example. By the way, I don't think it matters how late the great moment was, because unfortunately, we TV people, we're not that important anymore. People take nuggets online, on social media. It's the truth. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be all about the clips and about what's put out here and there. And so he can still win the day. And it's showing the reaction is not bad to Tim Walz. I will say, though, to that Tiananmen Square answer, I was waiting for, what are you talking about? I misspoke, and I'm sorry about that. This guy lies every day about legal migrants. He dehumanizes legal migrants. The governor of Ohio is begging for JD Vance and Donald Trump to stop doing this to our community, and they continue. Lies about January 6th. He's lying about the 2020 election. I misspoke 23 years ago. You can talk about what he said 6 hours ago. These guys lie for a living.
I love that. These guys lie for a living. And I agree with Mika that Governor Walz would have benefited from pushing back harder and saying, you want to talk about something I said 30 years ago when I misspoke? Big deal. These guys lied 6 hours ago. Let's get into that. And they continue to lie. And that's what they do for a living. I personally think that Governor Walz was just trying to get through the debate and show the nation how to have a proper debate and not get into the name calling and the pointing of fingers and such. And I'm sure many people out there were disappointed and they wanted to see a slugfest. But I actually enjoyed the debate because they were talking about policy. Not so much JD Vance, because these guys are lying through their teeth, but But to hear Tim Walz articulate what the Kamala Harris administration would do in the future and where their values are and what they care about, it was refreshing. I'm glad that they had the debate, and my favorite moment was when they shook hands at the end, because it's important to show people that we can agree to disagree and still be friendly towards one another in the end. So that was a really nice moment. And you have to remember that these debates are not for the people that are already convinced to vote for either candidate. They're trying to win over people that are undecided somehow still. And so I think for Tim Walz, those are kind of moderate Republicans, maybe the Nikki Haley voters out there. So it was important to show that there is room within our coalition for more people. So I believe that's the reason why he acted the way he did during the debate, and he said the things that he said as well. But Mika from Morning Joe has a great point, and that Tim Walz could easily say, how dare you guys give me grief for misspeaking 30 years ago when you're lying every single day. I still think Governor Walz did a fantastic job, and I am thrilled with what happened last night, but it's always good to get some feedback and hear how to improve in the future.